I'm Alistair Cooper and welcome to Strategy 6 in the PlanningGame.com 7 free strategies series. I've called this one Play the Game with No Money. So pretty exciting title, so I hope I deliver on my promise in sharing with you examples and giving you the confidence to go out and find some deals without actually having to put any of your own money down. The first thing to understand is it is possible, and I'll show you an example, just one example of where I've managed to get involved in a development project without any money. The great thing about this is you can combine strategies that you've learned with me through the PlanningGame 7 free strategies series, and more importantly, things you'll learn more in depth when you come and join us on one of our workshops, with below market value techniques that you may already be familiar with. The great thing about buying below market value is you already have an obvious and clear exit strategy, don't you? If you've bought the property at 20% less than it's worth, you could simply tide it up and resell it for market value or even slightly under market value and still get out of the game with a modest profit. It's very easy to duplicate as well, because obviously if you're not having to tie up your own money in the deal, you can duplicate that and be involved in a lot more deals at the same time than you would otherwise be able to if you had to inject your own money or get private finance on board. This enables you to be far more scalable. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you can get involved in bigger projects quicker than you otherwise would have to do if you're having to build up your own equity by starting off small and working your way slowly up the ladder to bigger projects, which is the old-fashioned way of building up a property portfolio. If you can combine development strategies with below market value techniques, then you really have a powerful combination that really enable you to win the planning game a lot quicker than even I've been able to win the game. So let's have a look at a good example, shall we? Now, this is a property in Luton. I purchased it with a good friend who's now become a partner of mine, but on the face of it, it looked like just another below market value deal. We didn't go into this looking at it as a development deal from day one at all. But of course, as soon as we saw the property and understood the size of the plot, we knew that this was a winner for development as well. So we purchased it for 175,000. It was valued by the valuer the day after we agreed to buy it for 225,000. This enabled us to get an 85% mortgage based upon the value, because we used a one-day bridging product that basically lent us the money to buy the property for cash and refinance it later on the same day. So we were actually gaining a remortgage from the main lender, not an original mortgage. Basically, it means that we could draw down 191,000 from the main mortgage lender. It covered all our costs of buying the property and gave us £10,000 cash out on day one. So even forgetting the development angle, we were happy anyway. We've been managed to let the property as a multi-let property, which was more than covered the interest payments and has actually provided a small ongoing profit on a monthly basis. And this in itself, together with the £10,000, gives us a fighting fund, if I call it. It will cover all our costs of applying for planning permission and winning the ultimate permission we want to achieve on this property without us having to dip our hands into our own pocket at all. So in terms of this being scalable, we could go and do 5 or 10 of these projects simultaneously because we don't have to put any money down or source the money. So you can see how powerful combining these strategies really is. So rather than just a BMV deal, this artist impression, should I call it, of what we hope to achieve here. As you can see, it's a typical corner plot that we've discussed in Strategy 2. We could just literally mirror image the house. There's sufficient room there to fit another house on the side and sell it as 2 houses. However, we want to go one stage further, as you've probably come to expect of me by now, and we want to create 4 flats here. Basically, it's the same process. We'd mirror image the house, but then just split each house into 2 flats. And that's because, again, it's quite a fairly busy main road, same as we discussed with the St Albans project in Strategy 5. And so not necessarily is it the best area for new build family housing, and basically we could get more profit by developing it as flats. But what we're going to do here is actually split the strategy and apply for a large side extension to the existing house first, because we want to establish the fact that we can build within 1 metre of the boundary. And because of the building line in the road that runs at 90 degrees to Blundell Road, where this property is located, we know that we could have a battle with the council over the building line. So we want to win that argument first and then go back for permission to convert what we've already been given permission to develop in terms of an envelope. We want to go back and then ask for separate permission to split that into 4 flats. That seems like quite a complex multi-strategy approach, and that's the sort of thing we'll share with you on our one-day workshop. So the estimated cost here of developing the side extension and splitting into 4 flats will be about £120,000. Flats in the area now are typically reselling for about 125, so that would give us a resale of 500,000, and so an estimated profit on this one, if we get what we want, of 200,000. But of course we're covered anyway. Even if we get nothing at the counts, which is pretty unlikely, we could still refurb the property and sell it on, perhaps just get permission for a modest side extension, and that would actually enhance the resale value of the house itself, or even split into 2 maisonettes, for example. So there's actually about 5 or 6 different strategies, all which would deliver a good healthy profit to us on this development. So it really was a no-brainer. That's why we went for it. So what are some of the caveats when you're looking at combining no money down with a development strategy? Well, clearly there must be an exit strategy, and the exit strategy must stack, i.e. it must really be a genuine below market value deal. Don't be sucked into thinking that just because someone thinks it's worth 250,000, they're offering you for 200, it's necessarily a good deal. You have to do your research and ensure that you really are buying it below market value, and also be confident that the market is liquid. Again, what do I mean by that? I mean, are you sufficiently confident that there's a strong enough market in that area that you could refurb the house and sell it for a profit? If you're going to keep the property and rent it out, is there a demand for rental in that area? Because although you're not putting any money down on day one, you don't want to be left in the position of having to subsidise mortgage payments. Because again, if you've got 4 or 5 properties on the go at once, all of which need money to subsidise the mortgage payments each month, you're soon going to run out of money and find yourself in some financial stress. Make sure also that you get enough cash out to cover your fees. Ideally, the best deals would be the one we've just shown in Blundell Road, in that you've got sufficient cash out to give yourself a fighting fund. Also, you're probably going to need a joint development partner for the development aspect, because again, you're very unlikely to pull out enough money from the deal to fund the whole development. That would be an incredible deal, and if you know of any, please let me know. So you're likely to need to take on a partner to cover the development costs, and obviously there would have to be a profit share or some kind of interest arrangement with that partner. So your finance costs are likely to be higher than standard high street lending, because although you could gain a standard high street mortgage to initially purchase the property and cover those costs, the kind of return the private investment partner is likely to want for funding the development is likely to be significantly higher than interest you'd pay through a major high street bank. But as they often say, don't deny the next man a living, and there's quite a number of opportunities here where you could both profit comfortably from this kind of deal. So why not come along and join us at our upcoming one-day workshop to be held in Heathrow near London. This is a practical one-day workshop. It's not just board and chalk, as many people say. It's not me dictating to you for 8 or 9 hours. We want you to get involved, get you practicing and learning the key skills you're going to need to develop in order to spot opportunities, submit planning applications, and put yourself in the best possible position to gain successful planning permission first time round. Because the key to maximising profits in any development is to keep the timescale down, unless of course you're managing to rent it for a good return, then the timescale is not quite so important. But we want you to win the planning game. We want you to win it quick. So we want you to come along. We'll guide you by the hand, help to break down the jargon, and give you any guidance you need to achieve your goals. We want you to leave with a briefcase of knowledge, skills, and more importantly, the confidence to go out the very next day and spot opportunities and bring those opportunities into right the way through to fruition and successful developments and good healthy profits. This is what we call winning the planning game. Thank you for sparing the time to listen today. I look forward to speaking to you again soon for Strategy 7, the last in the series, and more importantly, welcome you along to our one-day workshop. Many thanks.